Squad Pod. Squad Pod.
Hey everybody, welcome to Squad Pod Sports, where you bring you our thoughts on the latest games and news around the sports world, brought to you by the Sideline Sports Network. Before we get into everything, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I always forget to say it at the beginning of the videos, but this time, make sure you do. Let us know what you think, and especially hit the subscribe. We need all the subs we can.
Please.
But of course, we're going to go over a lot of the NFL news that's going on, some retirement that happened.
Big one.
Notable retirement. And a couple things going into training camp. Some news about that. And of course, we're going to talk about the NBA. Vern, your hot and not list, of course, this week. And you say you have something new to talk about. So
something new. Stick around.
As we're kind of gearing towards the end of the season here. And then we'll just kind of touch on NHL a little bit. Their free agency period and trade deadline just passed.
NHL?
Yeah, NHL trade deadline just passed the other day.
Okay.
So, I mean, nothing too crazy, just some things there. And then just, of course, the bias bubble, crazy sports fact stat of the podcast. So, I mean, we'll just hop right into the big news of the week for the NFL. Old Julian Edelman, at first, he got waived and cut by the Patriots because he failed a physical from what they say. And
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, right?
This?
You're like, what's going on? He's decided to Tampa Bay now.
He's going to be a Buccaneer.
Go down to Tampa Bay. But then a couple hours later, what do you know? He drops a vid from the middle of Gillette Stadium, which was pretty cool.
Almost bring a tear to my eye thinking about all the memories of Julian Edelman. And I was going to save this for the bias bubble, but I'm going to just break it out now. I got a list of his accomplishments, and you tell me whether or not this man belongs in the Hall of Fame, okay?
Yeah, because that's what everybody, as of since it happened last night, was now they're debating, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame
Is
or
he
what?
a Hall of Famer?
And it seems like pretty much half people are for it, half people are against it.
Exactly.
At this point.
And most people that are against it are just against it because their people hated it. And it is what it is. But
yeah.
Listen to this, okay? Most catches in playoff history, number 2, behind Jerry Rice, okay? Most receiving yards in playoff history, number 2, behind Jerry Rice. Like, those are some impressive stats right there. Playoff history. Most 100-yard games in playoff history, number 2, behind Jerry Rice, okay?
Jeez.
With 6 of them. He's got 6 100-yard playoff games. Most catches in Super Bowl history, he's ranked 5th. Most receiving yards in Super Bowl history, he's ranked 4th. He has a Super Bowl MVP. He has 3 Super Bowls to his name, you know?
Yeah.
This is one that I found kind of astounding. There have been 13 players that have had 340 or more yards in a postseason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
13 players that have done that. He's the only one that's done it twice. I didn't
see that.
In NFL history who's had 340 yards in a playoff twice. Most catches in Pat's history, he ranks number 2. And most receiving yards in Pat's history, he ranks number 4. So,
yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people aren't really looking at how his career panned out either. I mean, he didn't start out as a wide receiver. I mean, he played defense for you guys for a while too. Like, he wasn't even a receiver on the Pats.
I love
when he first came to the squad.
There's a clip floating around of him sacking Donovan McNabb, and it's lovely. I love it. And he's just Julian Edelman coming off the edge, and he sacks Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, and then if you really look at it, because he did have, I think it was 2018 or 2019 where he missed the season because of the ACL tear or something. He only really played 6 full years at wide receiver, and look at the stats he did in those 6 years, which is crazy. His career was longer than 6 years, but really as a wide receiver, his career was only 6 years. And I mean, just what he's done in that amount of time,
right.
I think it's worthy. I think it's worthy. I wouldn't necessarily say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame eventually.
That's how I feel about it. I think he's definitely worthy of it. I know Tom Brady took him to a lot of that. Like that's a lot of that is Tom Brady at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But that's a lot of these motherfuckers in the Hall of Fame. Is somebody got you there? Somebody threw you those passes. Like Jerry Rice, you're amazing. He probably would be the exception. Like one of the exceptions, like him, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is, but Julian Edelman, I think, like you said, maybe not first ballot, but he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, I've been defending him on Twitter. Believe me, I be
Good.
seeing like I be sticking up for your boys, and
Good.
I posted about it too. Like no doubt about it, Julian Edelman is going to be in the Hall of Fame eventually. I believe it. I mean the stats prove it as well. I mean, dude, like I don't know, like even Pat McAfee said that like he was one of the scariest guys to punt to, because like he could take it to the house.
I just watched a video today of Julian Edelman returning one of Pat McAfee's kicks.
Yeah.
And you see Pat McAfee sliding on the ground trying to tackle him, and Edelman. There's always that legendary video as well of and I remember because I've been a Pats fan since I've been little, since before I met you. Like I remember this video at least when I was younger, seeing it on like NFL films of Belichick kind of talking to Welker, where he's
I was
like,
gonna
"Hey,
say about that, yeah.
do you know who so and so is?" And he's like, "Nah." He's like, "That's the guy I played second base before Lou Gehrig or something like that." And he's just like, "Oh yeah." The little guy, like right after Julian Edelman ran a kickback, like he's just talking about how he's about to replace Wes Welker.
He's like, "That's the guy that's gonna take your job."
He said it straight to his face, and look what happened, man. 3 Super Bowls later, a Super Bowl MVP. I will never forget that Falcons game, man. Watching him see that catch, I will never forget
I saw
that.
the picture of it where it shows like his hands there, but like the ball is like this far, and it's like, how did this end up being a catch? Like that's crazy.
Amazing. It was amazing, and it was that right there was Hall of Fame worthy. That was a Super Bowl moment if you ever seen one,
Yeah, for sure, dude. And like just like you said, seeing that video, even not as a Pats fan, it was really cool seeing that video, like him in the middle of the stadium, like they were playing like the sound clips and everything. It was really cool.
It was.
I really like that.
But thank you very much, Julian Edelman. 3 Super Bowls later.
Jules.
You know what's crazy? I got the Super Bowl jersey. Okay, so make sure that's noted.
That's when he won MVP.
I think. I'm not sure.
Was it? I thought that was, or did he win MVP during the Falcons Super Bowl?
During the Falcons one.
Okay, yeah, I think that one was whenever you beat the Rams.
Yeah, that was from the Rams. But that's all right. That's all right.
But yeah, I mean that's cool, man. He did bring a lot to New England. I respect him. I damn sure respect him.
Man, I'm gonna just throw this in here at the end. Here we can get to another topic. I was reading Tom Brady's Instagram post about Julian Edelman today, and I'm just like, oh, man. Like even me, I'm like, this it makes me sad. It makes me sad.
See what Gronk said about it?
Yeah, it was like 5 words.
He's like, I give it a 69% chance he's back or whatever.
Yeah, and Brady had this huge paragraph talking about all this stuff, and Gronk's like, "I give a 69% chance he comes back." He's trying to have him come down to Tampa Bay, and honestly, I'd give it a 69% chance that he comes back too.
Especially if they don't re-sign Antonio Brown.
Right.
Throw Julian Edelman right in there. He doesn't have to start, but he can he can just be that role player that comes in the slot.
He's a hobbled version of himself, but then you have him and Cameron Braid out there.
I'm saying if he's not starting every down, he'll be able to play like a whole season.
True.
So, I mean, there was the report about like him. They're saying that he would never be able to play a full season again because of that knee.
Right.
And I'm guessing that's what kind of came to the retirement. I'm guessing he was like, it's better to go out now than to go out on his own terms now. Then, yeah, which I respect, man. Especially like I respect him for his career too. Speaking of old heads, we got. Speaking of old heads, Bengals released running back Giovanni Bernard, ending his 8-year run with the Bengals. He is now since signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Trying to latch on.
Gronkaneers.
Trying to get a Super Bowl.
He was the longest tenured running back with one team, 8 years. The second was James White with 7 years with the Patriots.
Hey, hey.
I thought that was pretty cool. Let me see here. I did have some other news. Former Steelers running back James Conner signed with the Arizona Cardinals on a one-year
Nice.
deal.
I like that move. That's a really good move.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he left Pittsburgh. I thought they
Yeah, I
were
mean,
pretty sold on him, it seemed.
I think James Conner, maybe Pittsburgh isn't sold on him necessarily.
Yeah, maybe it'll do him well to, switch places.
Right,
Go
right.
somewhere else.
I think it'd be nice to see him down there in Arizona with what they got going on. He'll fit nicely into there.
Yeah.
He won't be as focused on.
Yeah, true. And I think that's where he's going to thrive, where he's not that guy. He's not going to be that running back for you. Former Washington tight end Thaddeus Moss, the son of Randy Moss, has been claimed by the Bengals. So he's going to play with Joey Burrow.
Back to them LSU days, man. It was great back. What was that? Only 2 years ago. It was amazing watching it then. They're saying like quote unquote the best college football season ever from a quarterback, and that was his wide receiver. So let's run it back. This is more or less what they're saying. They're trying to get it going.
Joe Burrow just talking to the back. He's like, you might want to go over in the scoop him. He's like,
he's Randy Moss's son, right? Like he's
couldn't hurt.
I hope. Just because of how much I love Randy Moss, I hope he balls out. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
Good for them for picking him up. That's a great weapon for Joe Burrow.
Low key signing.
Mm-hmm. I did see that though.
Apparently, a deal hasn't been done yet, but free agent pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney apparently is visiting with the Cleveland Browns on Wednesday, so tomorrow. By this time this comes out, he'll already be done visiting with them, but maybe a deal will be done by then as well. This is the second time that he's visited Cleveland. I mean, he hasn't really been active. Like last year, he didn't really play much. There's a really big question mark on Jadeveon Clowney as of right now.
Speaking of Jadeveon Clowney, I have a list here of a couple of free agents that are kind of eye-opening that are still out there. Just like all over them real quick. Quarterback-wise, you got Alex Smith. Kind of junk here on the quarterback list. I'm not gonna lie. After you get past Alex Smith, you got Matt Barkley, Nick Mullins, Blake Bortles, Nate Sudfeld. Yep, that's what's out
Nate
there right now.
He signed with the 49ers now.
Did he? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
He signed with the 49ers. That
narrows your choices down even less than if you're still looking for a quarterback at this point. So you might as well go towards the draft,
I was why would they sign Nate Sudfeld? What are you doing, 49ers? Have you seen this dude play?
What? They're trying to get quarterback in the draft anyway, but
yeah.
Running back wise, Todd Gurley, Duke Johnson,
Todd Gurley's still out there.
Le'Veon Bell, Rex Burkhead. Wide receiver wise, you got AB, Danny Amendola, Golden Tate, Alshon Jeffrey, all still available.
Yeah, Alshon's out there.
Mm-hmm. Then tight ends, Tyler Eifert, Trey Burton, Jordan Reed, all still available right now, even though Patriots got number 3 and 4. So we chill it, I'll take 3 and 4. It's okay. But anyway, and then I have Clowney on this list because as of this, he wasn't signed anywhere quite yet. But defensive players that are, like notable defensive players, we got Clowney, Melvin Ingram, Jason Peters, Eric Fisher, former number 1 overall pick, and then Richard Sherman, of course. So there's
Richard
a lot
Sherman,
of.
I've been really I haven't heard anything on him talking to anybody. The only thing I've seen was he's probably going to come to a decision after the draft.
Yeah, there's a lot of decent vets out there. So
yeah,
I mean, help the team.
A lot of them would be role players. I mean, especially Trey Burton and Jordan Reed.
Yeah, but
I mean, if they can stay healthy, they would be okay.
The type of pieces that built Tampa Bay last year.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt.
At the end of the day, the deep depth pieces that are veterans, that really know what they're doing. So I hope these players end up in good places. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I saw that was interesting. I was like, what? Le'Veon even is still available?
Yeah.
AP? Todd Gurley?
AB too, I think. AB,
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. Yeah.
Yep, it's on
I don't
him.
know if you said that. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows?
Golden Tate.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of these will probably be after the draft once like teams know who they have, know who they're working with, try to fill in some holes at that spot. But who knows, man? I mean, apparently from what the only thing I've heard out of Eagles camp is if they can't find a trade partner, Zach Ertz might be gone like during the draft, like included with like if they're trading up or down somewhere.
Right. Just as a throw in, trying to sweeten some deal.
Exactly. A little bit of news here. Just going to get this out of the way because it's pretty crazy. But Andy Reid's son, Britt, has been charged with felony in that car accident that happened before the Super Bowl, severely injuring that 5-year-old girl. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with that going on. They're probably going to have to find a whole new whatever he does. I don't remember. Isn't he like an offensive line coach or something? I don't
remember what he does either, honestly. But his time is done in the NFL.
He's going to be out. In other NFL news, the NFL informed clubs today any team employee who refuses a COVID-19 vaccine without a bona fide medical or religious ground will be barred from Tier 1 or Tier 2 status and thus have restricted access within the team facility and not work directly with the players.
Yep.
So they're pretty much saying, you taking that vaccine, but you ain't coming in, you ain't working, you ain't doing nothing.
You ain't working. Which a lot of other fields are doing. So, I mean, it's just kind of it's just the NFL rolling with it now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and speaking of training camp, because OTAs and actual, the beginning of training camp actually starts this coming Monday, where players can... Supposedly. But now, it started with the Denver Broncos, and then the Seattle Seahawks. I haven't seen any other teams as of right now, but they have already said that they're going to stick to doing everything virtually. They're not going to be going into the facility at all. Right. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy because, I mean, there are some reports here that apparently almost every team in the NFL has had 15 or 20 players in their facilities this whole time working out and doing stuff already. So, I mean, and I've already seen reports where agents are telling their players, if they're young, up and coming players, if you can, you're going to the facility and you're going to be working, try to boost your stock a little bit if you want to play.
Up to speed, man.
Exactly. Where it's the old veterans and all that, yeah, they're not going to have to go. They're not going to want to go. But I mean, it's interesting because I did see something here, of course, with your Patriots. Patriots players and many around the league have a tough choice. NFLPA tells them today not to attend voluntary OTAs, but Belichick told them last week to report to Foxborough on April 19th.
You better can be there.
Special teamer Brandon King said, if Bill tells me to report, I'm reporting.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you gotta just listen to coach. Sorry if you get. That's tough, man. That's tough.
Right.
I'd listen to Belichick. I don't care.
Apparently the source said the Patriots have had 14 players working out and rehabbing at Gillette Stadium throughout the offseason. Broncos, who announced today they won't participate in OTAs, have had over 20. About a dozen teams have had 15 or more players doing the same as well. So, I mean, it seems like, because it's mostly the NFLPA that are saying, we want to do everything virtually. It worked well last year. We just want to continue doing everything virtually for the OTAs and stuff. Whereas that kind of hurts the younger players because they're trying to boost their stock. They want to show what they can have so they can go out and get playing time. So, I mean, I get it from a veteran point of view, but I also get it from a younger player point of view, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But hopefully it all gets straightened out and we get people in there either way, because like you said, the younger players are going to need to get reps regardless.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think, there's always those veterans that will show up for OTAs or if not some of the OTAs where, I think it would help, especially if you have a new coach or a new system where you're trying to build and develop as a team,
Exactly.
But that's all I have as far as NFL that I do have some things here, but we can save them for the bias bubble.
Okay.
As far as NFL, I did have something else here. It's not really news, but since the 16 game era is over now officially for the NFL, we're going into the 17 game era. I have all the winning percentages for the teams through the 16 game era
Oh yeah.
of the NFL, which covers
Mm.
1978 through 2020.
I wonder who's number one.
Can you guess who number one is?
It's gonna be the Steelers.
It is the Steelers. And then the Patriots at number 2.
I was like, wait a second. As
Yeah,
I was
wait.
like, wait a second. Wait a second. That's gonna be the Steelers.
It's not far off though, too. The Steelers had a record of 413 to 265, and then they had 2 ties. And the Pats, they had 410 wins and 270 losses straight up. No ties.
No ties.
So like the Steelers had a .609, you guys had a .603. Dead last. Who do you want to guess for dead last?
Cleveland.
Close. They're second to last.
Ah.
Who's the only other team that's worse than Cleveland?
Jacksonville.
No, they're actually a little higher.
One more guess, all right? The Jets.
Nope, it's the Lions.
Oh, damn. How did that...
The Lions have a
makes sense.
.396 win percentage. They're 268 and 410 and 2.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's very bad.
We are actually number 8 on the list, the Eagles.
Okay.
They have a .548 win percentage of 370 and 305 and 5. We have 5 ties in the.
But above 500 at least.
Yes, we were above 500, so that's nice. But I thought that was pretty interesting. Interesting enough, out of the squad, the top 3 are within our squad. It's the Steelers, Patriots, and the Broncos have the number 3 highest win percentage in the 16-game era.
That's pretty.
Which funny. I was like, damn, the Broncos are that high up. I wasn't expecting that.
Though, I really like there was a stretch of years there, and I know this is only relevant to our squad, one team from our squad was winning Super Bowl every single year, no matter what. Like it was like the Broncos, because even the Patriots lost it in 2012 to the Giants. All right, and then we had the Broncos win, right? No, the Ravens won. I'm confused. When did the Broncos win? The Broncos, we won number 49.
The Broncos won, I think, in 2015, didn't they?
They won against the
Panthers.
And, okay, that's right. They lost against the Seahawks. That's where I was getting confused. Okay. But anyway, the Patriots won against the Seahawks, and then the Broncos won, and then the Patriots won, and then the Eagles won, and then the Patriots won. There was a good stretch of years there, everybody from our squad except for Alex.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's seen one of them. And now he can't say 6 rings because, you guys got 6 rings now, too.
Brady's got 7, goddammit.
Brady, unreal, bro. Unreal. But yeah, that's just all the NFL stuff I had this week. There really wasn't too much that's going on. I'm sure it'll be heating up here soon. They have had the pro days. So, it's all speculation as of right now.
Yeah, mock drafts and stuff like that. Like, people are like, oh, if the Patriots trade up to 4, they're going to draft this. If they trade up,
I apparently, that's everything I've been seeing is the Pats are scooping a QB at some point in the draft.
All I can say is I hope that QB comes from a certain college, okay? I don't care about any of these other quarterbacks. I don't care about no Trevor Lawrence. I don't care about any of them. We beat Trevor Lawrence. Get out of here. Justin Fields, baby. Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. That's something that I should write that on a sticky note.
You should write that on a sticky note.
Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. No matter where he goes, I'm calling it now. I don't even care if that's a biased take or what. I'm writing it down, okay? That's just how I feel.
Before we head into the NBA, I have one little bit of actually this is, let me see here. Yep, we'll talk about this going into the NBA talk, I suppose. Former Major Leaguer Alex Rodriguez and billionaire Mark Lore have finalized a deal to purchase the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Ooh, okay.
From majority owner Glenn Taylor. Taylor will continue full control of the team for 2 years before Rodriguez and Lore take over in 2023.
That's very interesting. They've been going through some things, so we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, I mean, there's already rumors about like would they move the team from Minnesota or something like that. Like,
I mean, you think it's out of the realm of possibility right now?
Probably not, to be honest.
We'll see what happens.
Apparently there's talk about like just rumors, not even talk. It's just rumors about like some of like the Toronto and like Canadian teams moving to the U.S. because of like all the COVID restrictions and everything.
Right.
And I was like, that'd be crazy.
Damn, forcing the team to move because of it.
Yeah, like that. Like I don't know how much truth is behind that, because I mean everything like the vaccines and stuff. It seems like things will start opening up sooner than later. But yeah, we can start rolling into some NBA talk here, Vern. What's your hot knots this week?
All right. So, unfortunately, as a Laker fan, I hate to say it, but the Clippers are number one on the hot list right now.
Ooh.
They have 5-game winning streak. They're 8-2 over the last 10, sitting in third in the Western Conference right now.
Quiet. I never hear anything about damn Clippers. I saw that Paul George was like player of the week this past week, but other than that, I don't hear anything about them.
They're consistent, man. They're doing exactly what they need to do to be in a position to win this championship this year.
Yeah.
Next team I have on here, New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, not much at all. They're on a 3-game winning streak, back at in 11th in the West, so it's not really that big of a deal. But maybe they can actually make a push, get into that 8th seed. You know,
Zion, man, he's playing amazing ball this year. I mean, the Pelicans aren't great, but Zion is balling.
Right. And then you got Indianapolis, who's in the 9th seed over in the East. They're on a 3-game winning streak as well. But they're 6-4 over the last 10. So they're kind of like just trying to get together, get right, more or less, you know.
Yeah.
New York Knicks, who just beat my Lakers the other night. Like, Julius Randle's playing crazy basketball. I love it. I love to see it. I don't like to see my Lakers lose, but I love to see Julius Randle balling. They're on a 3-game winning streak, but they're also only 5-5 over the last 10. They're sitting at 5th in the East. Got Boston, who's on a 3-game winning streak, trying to bounce back because they've been.
Yeah, they're trying to get it turned around. They were going downhill for a while.
Don't know what to make of them quite yet, so we'll see what happens. But they're sitting in 6th, and then Phoenix, the team you picked to win the West, sitting in 2nd place right now.
They're now only 2 games behind the Jazz, which
they're on.
I'm
9-1 over the last 10.
Come on, Phoenix.
Then you got Denver. Okay, I'm gonna have as my honorable mention. They're on a 2-game losing streak, but I think they were 17 of 20 over the last 20, which was ridiculous. But they're 8-2 over the last 10 now, so they're my honorable mention for the hot list. Then you got the not list. Sacramento, back on this list, 7 straight losses. 3-7 over the last 10 games. They're sitting in 12th. Okay. You got Orlando, 6 straight losses, not looking good. 2-8 over the last 10. OKC, 6 straight losses, 1-9. What are you doing? Houston stays on this list, 3 straight losses, 2-8. And then I'm sorry.
I know it's coming. Them Bulls.
Chicago,
3-7 in their last 10.
3-7 over the last 10 on a 3-game losing streak. They're sitting in 10th in the East, so they're not out of it yet. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
I mean,
was just playing them in
6 games out of 8 seed and like 3 games out of like behind Indy right now. I don't know. They're gonna have to start winning some games to get close. There is some time, but it's narrowing down here.
This is the time to make a push. So I wish you the best, but I had to put you out there.
It's all right, man. I'll be happy if we make it. I'll be also happy if we get a higher draft pick as well.
Right. I did have some other stuff here. Jamal Murray apparently tore his ACL, so he's out indefinitely. Like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm not going to be able to see the dynamic Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell matchups this year.
Yeah, and I
Like,
mean, and they were like what you were saying is they were on such a great streak going on here after like since they picked up Aaron Gordon as well. They've been winning so much, they've been looking great, and now this happens. It's terrible to
terrible.
see.
It's terrible to see, man. And then Mark Cuban apparently is not a fan of the play-in games, the play-in
Yeah,
tournament.
I
Did
saw
you see
Luca
that?
was talking about it as well. He was like saying it doesn't make sense. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, it doesn't the way that they put it. Like, what's
Right.
the point of playing this season to get to the seeding and then just have a
A
play-in
play-in
tournament?
tournament.
Where
Right.
it's not going to matter. Like,
So it's very weird. I hope it's only a 1 year thing here. You know what I mean? But Mark
yeah,
Cuban's idea even was better. He's like, just have it 1 through 20 and do it that way, and have like the last four play to get in those last spots, like some college shit. But
yeah.
it's interesting. I just thought that was an interesting take. Like, that's an NBA owner, coming out publicly talking about how he doesn't like it, but he said he sees why they have to do it. He's like, I understand, but I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah,
Pretty
I mean,
much.
I definitely agree with him though too.
And then
Um,
I had just one more thing here in
mhm.
basketball. Stephen Curry, the
Bro,
Chef Curry,
Chef Curry has been cooking,
dropped 53 points the other night, okay?
cooking.
In a game that he also passed Wilt Chamberlain for the #1 all-time scorer for the Warriors. So
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty amazing. That's a huge milestone for him right there.
definitely.
And to do it in a 50-point game, that's some Steph Curry stuff right there. That's
He's been
what he does.
playing like lights out recently, man. He's been
Mhm.
dropping buckets. He's been averaging crazy stats recently.
Right. It's
I
been
mean,
crazy, but
he's
I
been
love to see
doing it
it.
all himself now. Because I mean, what I had here as well is their rookie James Wiseman. He suffered a torn meniscus,
Hmm.
and he's going to be out now. So I mean, he was playing really well for a rookie. He was fitting in. He was kind of building as an NBA player with them, and then had to have this happen. He was really rolling for a while.
Exactly. Now he's out.
Yeah,
Curry's got to pull even more weight.
yeah, exactly. He's going to carry the team on his back. Speaking of someone else who was balling, Jimmy Butler this season has career highs in almost all of his stats except points per game. He has a career high in rebounds, assists, shots per game, and then field goal percentage is a career high as well. And
He's
he's
a
averaging
different
21
animal.
points a game.
Jimmy Butler's trying to get him back to the finals, man. He tasted it.
Yeah, and I mean, I
Tasted
think
it.
it's not impossible, man. I mean, they're playing really good ball right now. They just picked up Victor Oladipo. He's been playing okay. He was out. He was hurt for a little bit now. But I mean, they play great defense. They're starting to look like the team that they look like in the bubble a little bit. We'll see how that translates, man. How they can keep it if they can keep it together rolling into the playoffs.
Hmm.
The only other little bit of news here, as far as the NBA, is apparently the Warriors are expected to pursue Kawhi Leonard in free agency as well as the Heat.
Well, the Warriors' name keeps getting thrown in all these years since before
Everywhere.
KD. Since
Yeah.
before KD, because we were like, there's no way Kevin Durant goes.
Just like the
Ke-
Nets. We were like, no
Kevin
way.
Durant signed with the Warriors. What? So at first, when you said that, I'm like, what? But now I'm like, it's not out of the realm of possibility
Yeah,
for them to
you
pull a
can't.
move like that. So
But yeah, as I was saying, apparently the NBA expects arenas to be at full capacity as of next season, pretty much mirroring what Roger Goodell said with the NFL, where everybody expects sports to be back,
there's stadiums,
officially back.
crowds roaring.
Yeah. And I mean, it's going to be weird, man. It's going to be really weird seeing fans back in the stadiums watching games now
Just like
after the past two
throwing
seasons.
those towels and everything. It'd be amazing to watch, though. It's gonna be a good
It
feeling.
is, especially in like the playoff atmospheres.
Yes, exactly. Everybody's got the same shirt on because they put it. I don't even know if that'll continue. We'll see how they treat all this stuff, but like that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would be really cool. But you said that you have something you brought in this week, as far as the NBA. What you got, Vern?
Something new, and it's like nothing new as far as I didn't create this. I just went and I looked and I did create the list, but like MVP race, okay?
Yeah.
Leaders. Who do you think deserves to be in the lead right now based off of these stats, okay?
Mhm.
So we got Bradley Beal averaging 31 points a game, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, a steal. Steph Curry, 5, 5, and 1. Giannis Jokic. He's the 26.2, 11 or 10.9 assists and 8.8 rebounds. So I mean, it's pretty good, but
Yeah.
it's not the points that everybody else is putting up, more or less. Got James Harden, 25, 8, and 10. Luka out here, 28, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, you know,
Damn.
and Joel Embiid at 29, 3, and 11. My vote for MVP right now is gotta be Luka, to be honest with you. With
Luka?
28, 8, and 8. And I know they're not gonna give him any votes because his team isn't up there where James Harden's is right now, type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's why James Harden and Nikola are getting all the credit right now. But Luka is balling. He's almost at a triple double with 28 points a game right now. He's trying, man. That's who I would vote for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised actually because I haven't seen really much on Luka just because I mean the Mavs aren't doing that well. But when you look at it like that, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree that Luka should probably get it. Who I think's gonna get it? I think that probably Jokic is gonna end up getting it. I'm assuming.
Right. He's almost at a triple double as well, but it's at 26 points.
I'd rather him get it over James Harden. Just come on, man. Like, look at that team. You're gonna tell me he's the most valuable player in the league on the Nets?
They seem to play their best ball when it's just James Harden out there.
True. But I'm gonna go with Jokic.
Okay.
Joker.
Okay.
Probably.
So I'm gonna go for Luka. Luka for right now. That's my vote. But I'm sure he ain't gonna get no love because the Mavs ain't number one.
I'll pick those two, and then I'll put Steph at 3, just because I like Steph. I mean,
30
he's been
points
balling
a game
out of his
right
mind.
now. And still up almost 6 assists a game and 6 rebounds a game.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, we'll see how it happens. We'll kind of check in on that, like as we go forward through the end of the season too.
Not necessarily something we can do every week. Maybe not this long, but we'll narrow it down then. You know, see as we go throughout the year.
Yeah, for sure. Before we roll into like the bias bubbles and stuff, a little bit of hockey news. Some crazy stuff. Vancouver Canucks announced they had 21 players test positive for COVID-19.
Jeez, man, that's ridiculous.
Right?
How do you got a team?
That's what I was saying. How do you even have a team right now? Apparently, since that's been reported, it's been declining now. They're starting to get back to normal. But damn, I was like 21 players. That is insane. But other than that, I mean the trade deadline happened for the NHL. There wasn't really too many, like there wasn't any blockbuster trades or anything. Nothing really of too much note. Nothing really has changed either within the standings. The Flyers are just getting worse. They made a couple of moves during the trade deadline. But coming to the divisions here, Central, Carolina took the 1 seed from Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay.
Officially, they're on a 6-3-1 out of their last 10 games. Tampa Bay is on a 4-6-0 run. But yeah, they lost that number 1 seed to Carolina. In the East, you got Washington, New York Islanders, Pittsburgh, and Boston. And then the Rangers swooped in at 5th seed here. Washington's on a 3-game win streak, and so is Pittsburgh as of right now. Pittsburgh is getting hot. They are 8-2 in their last 10 right now.
You always seem to roll into the playoffs, man.
Always. And the Islanders, they're also 7-3 of their last 10, and Washington 6-4. Going to the North, we got Toronto, who actually, I'm pretty sure they were in the 2nd seed before they hopped back up to the 1 seed there in that division. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10. Winnipeg, who's in the 2nd seed, they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. And then you got Edmonton. In the West, you got Colorado, who still holds the number 1 seed, and then you got Vegas still at number 2.
Still, they didn't slip that far.
Nope. No, they didn't slip that far. They're only 1 game behind Colorado as of right now. Both those teams are on a 3-game win streak, too.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're both still doing their thing. Colorado is 8-1-1 in their last 10. Vegas is 6-3-1, and then you got Minnesota at the 3rd spot there in the division. So I mean, you got a couple teams just swapping like 1 and 2 seeds there in the division. Nothing too crazy. It's business as usual in the NHL. Nothing too crazy going on. Not really any storylines.
Okay.
So I mean, that's all I have as far as that goes. I don't know if you have any other. Oh, the Masters happened. We got to talk about the Masters a little bit.
Hell yeah, man! That was an amazing pick of the winner. I forget how to pronounce his name. Do you have his name there?
Yes. Hold on 1 second.
But there was an amazing picture of him at the airport, chilling, like just on his phone, like this, right?
Yeah.
Just like with his hat on, and the green Masters jacket was just like draped over his seat. He's sitting there by himself, just waiting for a flight. Like some kid, like snapped a pic. I'm like, that's balling. Like not even that balling. It's just like he's flying. I think they were on a flight to Tokyo or something. He said like my flight stops. It's going over to Tokyo, and he's just chilling, just like got the Masters jacket right there. And I was like, that's really cool. It is really cool.
Yeah, Hideki Matsuyama.
That's right. But that was his first ever major win. And it was the Masters, so that was pretty amazing. That was
and I mean, you even saw like the video that went viral of like his caddy, like whenever he went and got the ball in the last hole after he won it, he bowed, like as respect to the Masters and everything. I was like, that is really cool, man. I mean, cool. Yeah, it was awesome to see.
I really thought someone like Dustin Johnson was gonna win it, go back to back, even though it doesn't particularly usually happen. I just thought he's been playing good golf, but. That bull came out of nowhere.
I watched a little bit of the Masters. It's not something I watched the whole time, but I watched a little bit of it, and it just made me want to golf.
Oh, man. I know,
it just made me want to go out and golf. But yeah, man, congrats to him. He definitely deserved it. I mean, he came in at 10 under, which is wild to me. Like, how do you even do that, man?
Right? At the Masters?
How do you do that at the Masters? I mean, the dude behind him is at, like, he was 9 under, which is crazy, like, enough as it is. But I mean, that's all I have. Do you have anything else, Vern, other than like bias bubble stuff?
Nothing other than just the stuff for the bias bubble ahead.
Okay. I mean, we can just kind of roll into that then. I did have a quote to start off your bias bubble that I saw here for the Patriots. It's not anything recent, but they reported as Bill Belichick said in 2009, "I won't be like Marv Levy and coaching in my 70s. I know that." And then apparently he just turned 69 this past week.
Oh.
So, I mean, is he still going to hold true to his statement from then? Is he going to play?
Probably.
Is he going to coach
Bill
still?
Belichick to lie about anything other than deflated footballs and spying and okay, so maybe you can't take Bill Belichick's word. So maybe he does play into his 70s. Who knows? Based on that logic, I'm gonna actually
coach in 70s.
Keep it rolling, Bill. Maybe if he gets this team competitive again and sparks him, and he wants to keep going for another 5 years, maybe you can get 4 or 5 years out of Bill Belichick. I'll be all right with that. If it's 1 or 2, cool, whatever. Have Josh McDaniels take
time until next year. I'll try to do what I can this year. Try to win another Super Bowl.
Good though. I'm glad.
Yeah, but I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, oh, just turned 69 too. Who knows?
That's all right. That's why he's trying to like just money printer right now, trying to spend money, buy a championship. Let's get one more. Can't let Brady catch us. That's what Belichick said, because I think he's sitting there at either 8 or 9. I think he's got 8 because he's got 2 with the Giants.
Yeah.
So he's chill. He's like, I can't let Brady catch me. So he's just trying to get ahead of the game. The only real Patriots news I got here is we were speaking about this before. It's kind of both, nothing really that new, because a lot of stuff's just talking about Patriots moving up, draft the quarterback.
Yeah, what's going to happen in the draft.
But we are beginning off-season programs the 19th, like the league said. And then also Jonathan Kraft, who is the one right below Robert Kraft. It's his son. He said that he expects full stadiums this year, more or less echoing what Goodell said. So we're full steam ahead for that. I don't see anything that sees that like we're doing what the Broncos are doing or anything like that. It just looks like Bill Belichick's gonna make these guys go and do this shit no matter what. So that's it for New England as far as that goes. The Lakers, okay, been a rocky road lately.
You got some good news this week.
We had our best win of the season this week over the Nets, okay, who weren't quite at full strength, but we sure as hell were nowhere near full strength, and we beat them. And I was like, damn.
You not only beat them, you got on their head, too.
Ended up getting Kyrie ejected, even though Schroeder got ejected. But best win of the season, only to turn around and lose to the Knicks right after that. Like, God damn it. Just right when my confidence starts going up, we lose to the Knicks, and I already spoke on that. But Schroeder ejected twice now in the last couple games. I don't know what's going on. Like, he needs to calm down a little bit because we need him out there. This is the type of stuff that'll come back and bite you in the ass. You get suspended for a game in the playoffs because you have so and so many ejections and so many technicals. You know how players run into that all the time at the end of the season. So Schroeder needs to chill. I don't know where he is as far as technicals and stuff like that, if he's getting close to the limit, but he needs to chill. The banner, they announced when they're going to unveil the banner for us for last season. It's going to be the last game of the season, the last home game of the season, May 12th, the day after my birthday. So it's like a birthday present. Happy birthday. Here's the championship banner. Thank you very much. I love it. May 12th.
That is pretty cool.
That's what that's going to be. Marc Gasol spoke on what he was speaking on previously and wanted to reiterate that he's fully committed to the Lakers. He's not trying to cause any trouble. Like, he didn't mean anything by what he was saying. Like, he's ready to sit there and play, not play some nights if need be. Like, and he was talking about that. He's fully committed to this season and trying to win a championship. He just doesn't want to cause any problems. I respect that. He even came out and said something. I don't know if he was forced to say something. He came out and said something.
LeBron's like, you gotta go out there and correct this shit.
You better go out there and fix this shit. We can't have no problems in the locker room. Speaking of Gasol's, Pau Gasol, or Pau Gasol had his debut in Barcelona. I was like, that's amazing. After 2 years away from basketball, 9 points in 13 minutes. I was, damn, that's pretty. Pau Gasol out there doing exactly what he's used to doing, and I thought that was awesome. So
yeah,
congratulations to him for getting back on the court. Right.
Definitely.
Biggest news of the week for Los Angeles Lakers is Anthony Davis and LeBron James are both expected to come back soon. Okay, LeBron supposed to come back in 3 weeks. AD supposed to come back in 2 weeks. So that's like the maximum timetables they were giving them. So they will be back in time for the playoffs. Let's get it rolling. Let's get back up a couple seeds because I don't want to end up playing one of these tougher teams in the early round. So I just thought that was amazing news. Yeah, even though they're not back yet, they're definitely getting healthier. They're ready to go. So
yeah, I mean, hopefully that holds true because I mean that's definitely going to help you guys in the long run if they're able to come back before the season ends. That way you can kind of build that chemistry rolling into the playoffs.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, as far as what I don't have too much here. The Flyers, they stink. They pretty much sold at the trade deadline.
Playing for next year now.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's looking like they're just going to try to fix everything in the offseason. Because, I mean, it's looking – I mean, we would have to do a lot of winning here going forward to make the playoffs. But even if we did, we're not going anywhere. So, I mean, as of right now, the season's looking pretty bleak for the Flyers. It's looking pretty bleak for the Bulls. Bulls just haven't really seemed to been able – they had a nice little streak they were on, and then – they just haven't been able to put a full game of basketball together. If it just seems like the bench isn't helping them out like they used to. Some of the I don't know, it's not really clicking like it was before. And I mean, I just think that's just due to what the talent they have on the team. They only have a couple of really good pieces.
Yeah,
and then
you have to build chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't have much hope in the rest of the season. I would just hope they maybe get some wins, maybe put a couple games together that look nice. But I'm excited for the future of the Bulls. I mean, hopefully a higher pick will help us out going forward. Apparently, they are looking for another big star here in free agency to add to Zach with Zach LaVine and then Vucevic now. So I mean,
which is nice. It's a nice foundation to build with, man.
Exactly.
Vucevic is a monster.
He is, and he's been balling since he came to Chicago now. So, I mean, him and Zach. I mean, Zach had that 50. He dropped 50 points the other night, and they ended up losing the damn game. They were up by like 15 at one point, and they lost it towards the end, which sucks. I mean, that was his first 50-point game in the league. Like, just to have that night and then they lost, it sucks.
Right.
But I mean, I'm hopeful for the future. I'm confident in this front office. As of right now, I liked all the moves they've made so far. So hopefully they can. I'm expecting to see a whole different team next year, as opposed to this year. So there's
just
that.
A couple key pieces.
Yeah. And to the Eagles, of course, the day after we filmed the podcast last week, they decided to make some free agency moves for some reason, like always. They signed linebacker Eric Wilson from the Minnesota Vikings to a 1-year deal. I love this move just because he's a playmaker. He's had decent stats on the Vikings. He's gotten interceptions. And it's not something the Eagles would normally do. They don't really go out and look for decent talent at linebacker for some reason. It's not a position they really put a lot of attention on. But they noticed definitely last year that we really needed a nice stud linebacker, so they went out and got one in free agency pretty cheap.
It's a good move, man.
I really like that signing. The next one here, I do like I can understand why people don't, but we re-signed Jordan Howard to the team as a running back. I really like Jordan Howard. I know he hasn't really gotten too many chances the past year or so. He had a really great year. After he left Chicago, he came to Philly, and he was the 1-2 punch with Miles his rookie year. And he played really well up until he got hurt at one point later in the season, and then he just never played again for us. And then he went to the Dolphins the next year, and then he didn't really play for them that much, got cut, and then he came back to Philly and didn't really play much again.
Which had everybody wondering what was up with him.
Exactly, because, I mean, his injury with the Eagles, they kept saying it was a stinger, where you got hit in the chest or whatever.
Right.
But that stinger kept him out 5 games and then a playoff game for us. And then for some reason he went to the Dolphins and they didn't even play him that much either, which got me wondering what's going on with him.
Right.
And I mean,
is it a lingering injury or something like that? Is it something that's really bothering him or a career ending potentially?
Yeah, but I mean, he was on the roster for Miami, he was on the roster for Philly, and he wasn't on any injury reports. He was healthy. But I mean, and he had a press conference, I think it was yesterday or today, where he talked about how pretty much the NFL gave up on him. He thought his career was done, and he's only 26 years old. And
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and he's I wasn't getting any calls from any other teams, and I just appreciate that the Eagles brought me back. He's I want to prove everybody wrong that I can still play and everything. And I mean, I love the move, to be honest, because when he was with us that first year, I think he worked great with Miles, where Miles is just that elusive, fast runner who can catch passes, and then you got Jordan Howard who can just bulldoze his way through the line, and he's the power back. And I love that that 1-2 punch dynamic. And if they can keep rolling with that, that'll be really nice for us. If he plays well, that's the big question. If.
And I think he will. I just think it's a matter of if he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, and if they give him the chance, which I'm guessing they will since they signed him. Right. I'd rather have him on the team than keep Boston Scott, just because of his size and everything. I mean, he's a great Darren Sproles player, but I mean, when it comes at the end of the day, I think I'd rather have the other power back, because I mean, Miles Sanders can pass catch too. So I mean, I don't know, we'll see. But there's no guarantee Jordan Howard will be even on the team going into the season, so who knows?
Right.
That's all. That's pretty much the news I have, other than what I talked about before with Zach Ertz, where I haven't seen really any news on him as far as I just saw the rumor that they could possibly trade him during the draft if they don't find a trade partner. If not, I've seen rumors about them just keeping him throughout the season,
Which is what we talked about a little bit earlier in the year.
And then focus on getting his replacement or the backup to Dallas Goedert, eventually, either next year or something. But other than that, I'm not focusing. There was a report that came out about Doug and Howie and Jeffrey Lurie, but Doug isn't even here anymore. I'm not even talking about it. That's it. I acknowledged it, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to go in on it any further because it's just rumors. It's just reports. I don't believe it. We have a new coach.
You have to tell me what that is after the podcast.
But yeah, there really isn't any other news as far as that. I'm excited for the draft. Hopefully we can get something rolling for a live stream of the draft too. I would really like to do that. That way we can just see what happens with our teams. I know, will the Patriots trade up? Will they scoop a QB? Will the Eagles trade back up to maybe steal Kyle Pitts or one of these receivers? Who knows, man?
Will there be crazy controversy?
Yeah, there was definitely some controversy last year as far as teams and draft picks, teams taking QBs when they probably shouldn't have, and stuff like that. But hopefully we can do a live stream for that. That'd be really cool. Maybe get a couple guests on. Maybe Alex will hop on, or maybe some guys from the Sideline Sports Network will hop on and talk some sports with us here. But yeah, that's all I have. So we can kind of roll into the last part before we go here, and that's the crazy sports stat fact of the podcast.
What you got this week?
Let me see. I got two basketball ones because one isn't really that super crazy, but I thought it was pretty funny.
Okay.
Milwaukee Bucks Tony Snell in the 2017 game versus the Utah Jazz had a stat line of 0.0 rebounds, 0 steals, and 0 assists, and 0 blocks in 28 minutes.
Damn, Snell. Was that who'd you say he played with at the time? Was it
Milwaukee
with
Bucks?
Oh man, okay.
He was with the Bucks. He played for 28 minutes and didn't record a single stat.
How? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Just running up and down the court for 28 minutes.
He's just exercising.
So
that one was pretty. It's not super crazy, but that was kind of a little bonus one here. The other one that's pretty crazy here is your boy Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA, and he only made 1 3-pointer.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's crazy. He's just whoop,
whoop, skyhook, whoop.
Every time. That's wild. That's wild. I did not even know that.
Only made 1 3-pointer. How?
That's a good stat.
And he's been the all-time lead scorer
for years.
This long, still. That's wild.
That's a good one, man.
That is good. I had to have that one there. But yeah, the Tony Snell one's wild too. How you going? If I played 28 minutes in the NBA, I would get some.
A ball's gonna bounce my way, and I'll grab a rebound.
I get a rebound. I would probably get an assist, maybe 1 or 2 of them. Maybe. If I try, I maybe get one, but I feel like I'd be able to get some sort of stat in the NBA for 28 minutes.
Bad game.
Real bad game. The worst game you could have. But yeah, that's all I have this week. Anything else you have to add, Vern?
No, that's pretty much it as far as everything I got this week here. Good episode.
Yeah, definitely a good episode. Make sure to like and subscribe as always. Make sure to go follow us on Twitter at SquadPodSports. And make sure to check us out on Squad Nights on Mondays. Every Monday, we'll be playing some crazy games on PS5.
Great lately. Definitely check out Monday nights. It's been great.
It has been great. We were playing Valheim, and then we've been playing Undead Army 4, which is a wild game in itself. But other than that, we got some other stuff cooking as of right now. As far as the other podcasts, which we're on a break from, and then we got some other stuff cooking up to release in a later date. But until then, we'll see everybody next week, and we'll keep everybody posted about the draft.
Peace out.
Peace.